The Meg.
The Meg.
200 miles off the coast of China, a monster stars. That's the setup. And that's not even Statham. This is the creature. Basically, a scientific expedition has uncovered this deep prehistoric trench under the sea that's been masked for millennia by this cloud of cold, dense fluid that hangs above it. Now, previously, this has been interpreted as the ocean floor. It's not. There's a special little area beneath that where the prehistoric monsters lurk. Now, this Elon Musk-style billionaire, played by Rainn Wilson, has set up a big research station above this and is sending down submarines. And one such submarine makes it down beneath this mysterious curtain and is attacked by an unknown creature. Now, time is short. The submarine is stranded on the ocean floor. Oxygen supply is ticking down. Whatever is out there that got them may get them for good. So under such circumstances, where do you go? Who do you turn to? The answer is Jason Statham. Now, this film, we don't actually have a clip of the Meg, but we do have an assemblage of moments from the trailer, which will give you the kind of general gist about how enthusiastic Jason Statham's character is about getting under the water to meet this kind of prehistoric creature. Here it is.
We have a serious
problem. Thought so. I don't dive anymore. You gotta tell me a problem, and I'll say no. You're gonna offer me money, I'll still say no. You're gonna appeal to my better nature, and I'm gonna say no, because I don't have one. So I say, why don't we sit down, we'll enjoy a couple of beers, and then we can get you on your way.
Jonas, this happened this morning.
Laurie, I have a contact.
Oh, it's huge.
It's crushing me. There's someone down here. Oh my God.
They may have encountered the same species you did down there.
It's a shark.
It's a megalodon.
It's a megalodon. Now, megalodon is...
it's like a normal don, but bigger.
It's an enormous 75
enormous don.
Prehistoric shark,
Yeah.
thought to have been extinct, and it turns out it's not. Now, the reason that they've gone to Statham, who plays this kind of Captain Ahab-style scarred former naval officer called
Gosh, you've
Jonas
elevated
Taylor.
him already, haven't you?
Already?
Captain Ahab?
Yeah, throwing a little references to literature, of course. Yeah, no, you can be clever about a film like The Meg, Sanjeev.
Okay, more Captain Ahab than Captain Pugwash.
Exactly. Well, I mean, kind of equidistant, really. But he's, of all the people in the world, like, Jason Statham would be the guy who has a pre-existing grudge against the giant prehistoric shark. Like, this is not news to him that this prehistoric shark is down there. He had an argument with it 5 years ago. And so this chance to, rescue people from it is obviously a chance for redemption, for personal redemption for him. Basically, the way in which the story pans out is kind of like Jaws in reverse. And it begins with...
Wadge. Okay.
Swag.
To carry on.
Swag. Yeah, Jaw in reverse is Wadge.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's Swag is what this film is. It begins with this kind of crisis rescue out in the sea when people, the crew are at risk. Then it moves to hunting the shark in the open ocean when, of course, the inevitable happened. The shark gets out of the prehistoric enclave and starts causing havoc with general members of the boating public. And then the climax is what happens at the start of Jaws, which is total chaos on the shore when it finally reaches the resort town. Although in this case, the resort is in China rather than America. Statham is paired with this oceanographer called Su Yin, who's played by Li Bingbing. The main reason being that this is a co-production between Warner Brothers and a Chinese financing kind of consortium body. It's one of these sort of hybrid blockbusters that has been made ostensibly by Hollywood and in Hollywood, but it's for the Chinese market as much as it is for the Western market. And that makes it kind of interesting because there have been a few of these films so far. Most recently, Skyscraper. That was another, we talked about it in the box office top 10 this week. There was also The Great Wall recently, which was the dreadful kind of Matt Damon versus Chinese monsters things from a little while ago.
Which did dreadfully, didn't it? It
did very badly, yeah. It didn't kind of strike any chord at all, because the problem for me is when you try to make a blockbuster that is accessible to all audiences, and you kind of strip out any sort of sense of style, like a kind of a peculiar kind of shooting style, or you strip out any kind of cultural touchstones, reference points whatsoever, what you're left with is, by its nature, is incredibly bland and incredibly sort of sleek and sheeny, and it can be very, elaborate CG and everything. But it can feel quite soulless. And The Meg is the first example of this. It's not kind of so full, But there's a degree of soul in it that has not been in these previous examples that to me suggests, even if we're not in for an era of, a second blockbuster golden age with this financing model, some of the films that it produces might, there can be perfectly decent ones. It was, the Meg was described in one of these emails as being basically like exactly what it says on the tin, 2 hours of Jason Statham fighting a shark. And that's, that is what the film is. There are no unpleasant surprises in it. There are no pleasant surprises in it. It's just Jason Statham versus a shark for the duration. And I think, what else kind of marks this out? Because it's a weird premise for a summer blockbuster. It is quite kind of B-movie-like and quite trashy. And the reason I think it exists is because we have this sort of 9-year history of, you're aware with the mockbuster scene, these kind of ultra low budget films that are produced by studios like The Asylum, these kind of outsider studios for peanuts, basically. In 2009, they came up with this film called Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus. And I think it was one of the first...
What was that about?
Well, it was about a mega shark, which was actually a megalodon, versus a giant octopus. And the trailer for this film went viral beyond the Asylum's wildest expectations for it, and partly because there was a sequence in it in which the mega shark jumped out of the ocean and actually jumped high enough to eat an aeroplane, like a passenger jet that was passing overhead. So there's these kind of completely absurd things. And then this kind of gave birth to a big Mega Shark versus franchise. You had Mega Shark versus, I think there was a Mega Shark versus Mecha Shark was one of them. It was a big robot shark. Mega Shark versus the Hippocrocoduck and all these kind of weird, creatures. There was also this parallel thing of like they did a film. This is all The Asylum, because the thing is they knew this is viral. This is stuff that can market itself. They did a film called Two-Headed Shark Attack. That was followed by Three-Headed Shark Attack, the tagline for which was more heads, more deads. Then they skipped Four-Headed Shark Attack to go straight to Five-Headed Shark Attack. I think Six-Headed Shark Attack is in the works. But anyway, there's this kind of mood music of deranged shark films that's been going on
Six-Headed Shark Attack.
Six-Headed Shark Attack. And you just add another head every time, and then it can eat one more person.
Still one fin?
But Hollywood is, good question. I mean, it must be one fin on the top and then one tail and then 6 heads.
6 brains?
I mean,
is there
have
one
you seen these films?
No, I haven't.
I don't know if there's one brain.
Am I elevating it to a literary level?
There's no kind of Moby Dick resonance there. But the thing is, all of this has been taken away, and obviously someone in Hollywood has noticed, if you do something daft with sharks, people will share this video around. It will kind of, it will have a certain viral quality.
Well, Sharknado also comes.
Yeah, right. And of course, the Sharknado franchise as well, which is on its something like 6th installment now as well. So there's this idea that it's like a mockbuster in reverse. They're kind of dredging the sort of trashiest aspects of the film ecosystem in order to make something that does genuinely feel like a kind of a glossy, big budget product. And, it is entertaining and it does pass the time. You do see Jason Statham fighting a shark a lot. He does jump it at one point. I don't know if that's intentional or if it's just kind of something that happened and if there's a subtext to that or not. It's, if you think you're going to enjoy this film, you will. If you're not sure you're going to enjoy this film, you won't. That's what it is. It's just the Meg.